Someone actually doesn't like Beyonce? You heard that right.
We've got that story and more on this week's Cronkite Cut, where our entertainment news is a cut above the rest.
Now you don't want to miss this. I'm Sydney Eisenberg.
And I'm Austin Miller. You're watching Cronkite Cut.
Kelly Osbourne is leaving the force. E's fashion police force, that is. The purple-haired styled icon left the show last Friday after the recent Oscar controversy. Now, for those of you who don't know, during E's Fashion Police Oscar special, Juliana Rancic made a comment that singer Zendaya's dreadlocks seemed to smell like patchouli oil. Another host jumped in to say, or weed. Now, we don't know who it was because they weren't on camera at the time, but viewers called the comments racist and insensitive. They even blamed Kelly for the weed comment. Osbourne defended herself on Twitter through a series of tweets, even saying, quote, "I will not be dragged into this. The situation is being rectified like adults by both parties. I hope you can leave it to them and do the same," end quote. Osbourne had been publicly threatening to leave the show after the dreadlock comment controversy, but this isn't the first time her and the show haven't gotten along. She'd apparently been, quote, unhappy with the way the show was being produced after the death of their original lead host, Joan Rivers. While she had great fashion tips, this definitely was not a fashionable way for Osbourne to go out.
I bet you've heard of the Polar Plunge. Well, if you haven't, it's an event in Chicago where people literally run into Lake Michigan even though it's freezing cold. And this year's was definitely one for the books. Runners were shocked that even some A-listers were taking the plunge. Faces like Vince Vaughn, who said the courage and dedication of the athletes in the Special Olympics is why he participated. The mother monster herself, Lady Gaga, took the plunge as well with fiancé Taylor Kinney by her side. As she was leaving, Gaga said, "It was awesome," despite the fact that her wig looked like it was literally frozen. All celebs aside, the event was a huge success, raising over $1 million with a record number of participants.
Now, SNL is famous for making controversial issues funny, but one of their sketches on this week's episode may have gone just a little too far. A couple weeks ago at the Super Bowl, Camry put out a commercial where a dad drops off his daughter at the airport so she can join the military. Now, flash forward a couple weeks. 50 Shades of Grey star Dakota Johnson was the host of this week's SNL. She was in a sketch parodying that commercial, but instead of joining the military, Johnson's dropped out to join ISIS, the terrorist group. Now, at the end of the sketch, an ISIS member whispers "Death to America," and the new formed team drives away, shooting machine guns rapidly. Now, viewers weren't left laughing. Many were disgusted, even horrified that SNL would broadcast the parody. Killam, on the other hand, defended his work, saying, quote, "Proud of this. Freedom to mock is our greatest weapon. Thanks to the writers who asked not to be mentioned by name." Now, what do you guys think? Were we all left laughing or not so much? Tweet us at Cronkite Cut.
Beyonce fans are telling Kid Rock to buzz off after he expressed his disinterest in the drunken love singer last week. Rock commented on her body, saying it didn't really do anything for him and that he preferred skinny white chicks instead. And I quote, "Beyonce to me doesn't have a bleep Purple Rain, but she's the biggest thing on earth. How can you be that big without at least one Sweet Home Alabama or Old Time Rock and Roll?" End quote. The country singer also said he didn't understand her following, and, well, the Beehive didn't let his comments slide, posting thousands and thousands of bees below his Instagram pictures to the point where Kid posted a picture of a can of Raid. Well, I guess this goes to show that everyone is entitled to their opinion, even if it goes against the queen bee herself. Now we'll move over to Jade Nicole Yabon, who's going to tell us a little bit about music.
This weekend started off with a bang when shots were fired at T.I. and Jeezy's event at a nightclub in Charlotte, which ended up hospitalizing 2 victims, neither of which were T.I. or Jeezy. The event, which also was expected to feature Yo Gotti and a special appearance from Diddy, was canceled after the gunshots were fired. Thankfully, though, even those who were injured are not experiencing life-threatening injuries and will be okay. We are also thankful this week for the announcement of Mumford & Sons' new album, Wilder Mind, which will drop in May. Seemingly alluding to New York City, the album has songs like Tompkins Square Park and features an album cover that showcases the horizon of a big city. But wait, it's been rumored that the album will not feature any of that 2012 banjo-playing bearded loveliness that distinguished Mumford & Sons a couple years back. But nonetheless, we can't wait to hear them again in May. It's also been rumored that Cara Delevingne and Beyonce are working on a music project together. What? Cara Delevingne, model for Burberry, Yves Saint Laurent, Givenchy, and Chanel, and Beyonce, the goddess of the music industry? What a power couple. But don't get your hopes up. Fans and journalists have been speculating the rumors, which have been spawned from identical pictures of both Cara and Beyonce's freshly manicured fingers on an identical soundboard. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what's in store for us. That's all from me this week. I'm Jade Nicole Yvonne. Back to you, Austin and Sydney.
Now move over to Katie Malice, who's going to show us all things fashion for the spring season.
Spring is just around the corner, which means it's time to ditch those jackets and coats and opt for flowy blouses and shorts. Here are a few trends that are subtle, and not so subtle, that you can expect to see for spring 2015. Every season, it seems like a different decade takes over the runway, and now we're bringing it back to the 70s. This spring, it's not about the flow-blown bell-bottoms, but an abundance of denim, contrasting color combinations, and retro lapel shapes. Pack your bags, because this trend is taking us straight to the jungle. It's called the Modern Safari, and it embraces chic khaki trench dresses, poncho coats, fern prints, and camo-inspired pieces that were anything but invisible. You don't need to be a sports enthusiast to try out this next trend either. Sports minimalism is all about racing stripes, wristbands, zipper pulls, and drawstrings. The new high neckline was also an unexpected trend to hit the runway this season. The new high neckline embraces conservative dressing, from buttoned-up, high-collared looks to turtleneck dresses. It's not the typical direction most designers are going for this springtime, but sure has gained a lot of popularity in the fashion world. That's it for spring 2015 trends. Back to you, Sydney and Austin.
Thanks, Katie. You know, all those spring fashions got me thinking spring break is like right around the corner.
It is. I'm so excited. I'm going to be just relaxing on the beach, enjoying some nice reading. What are you going to be doing, Austin?
I plan on turning my phone off, laying in bed, and not getting out.
Two types of people, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, with spring break, that means that we won't be here for 2 weeks.
But you can check us out when we get back. And also, in the meantime, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and check out our website for e-news updates. See you next week. I'm Austin Miller.
And I'm Sydney Eisenberg. You're watching Cronkite Cut.